Yes,
Okay.
he's running late from another meeting.
I was gonna ask him about the swim lessons. Kawana's helping out with that and stuff like that, but I'll pick his brain on it. I just wasn't sure if he was gonna be here.
He'll be here. Probably catch him after the meeting. Speaking of, if he runs late, we may need to move one item before the other.
I'll just start reading. I just won't stop until just like a robot. Right.
Alicia? You settled in now?
That is beautiful.
ChatGPT.
I like it. Yeah.
It's got twin mouths, it's got sunset.
Carl said it has a fir tree surrounding it. Where's my hoops?
Yes, but that public comment, no.
See, it's ask twice before I do anything. Measure twice, cut once. I assume there's some in government, so that's good.
I think we're ready.
All right, cool. I got the nod, so we'll go ahead and get started and call this meeting to order with a quorum of the Parks and Rec. Oh, sorry, these are the minutes. What am I doing? Where's my cheat sheet? Uh-oh, am I gonna have to do this all by memory? This will be fun. Thank God. Oh, I was worried about that one.
We can't take you anywhere.
No, hell no. Yeah, unless it's like written down somewhere. All right, sorry. Well, this is the minutes. I was looking for the agenda.
Yeah, our packet didn't have an agenda. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I was
I haven't, I mean, it's in this.
unless y'all have it, and I don't. That's fine. That's just what I read off of. That's what keeps me on track.
The one page out of 1,000 that is left out.
Hey, that's
I
okay.
apologize.
No big thing. Thank you, ma'am.
Everybody else have an agenda.
That's okay. I'll just call the slides and, yeah. That's
We're good? All right. Mario's good? Okay. Al's good? All right, as long as Al's good. Okay. So we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, and we'll jump right into public comment. The board takes public comment on issues and concerns not on their regular agenda at this time. A public comment request form must be submitted to the board liaison prior to the time of this meeting is scheduled to begin. Public input on a regular agenda item will be taken at its appropriate discussion. Citizens should speak from the podium, address all comments to the dais, begin stating their name and address or single-member district number and limit their remarks to less than 3 minutes. So no public comment? You did?
Yes.
You want to make a public comment? Go ahead.
So partly it's introductions, but also an explanation for introductions. So everybody knows Mario Gonzalo. He's the Parks Manager. Marcus Hinojosa. Your title again? Yeah, he's over all the projects and facilities in parks. They're both here because Roger Havlock is no longer with the city. He retired last month and moved to California. So we'll miss him for sure, but
Yeah. Good for him.
maybe he can go surfing.
Yeah. He looks like the surfing type. He's got the farmer's tan already. He just needs to get the surfer's tan. Well, good for him. All right. Any other public comment? All right. We'll get rolling. So we'll move on to bullet point number 2, the consent agenda. And we will now consider approving the February 5th, 2025 meeting minutes. So I think everybody has one of those in their packet. I will entertain a motion to approve and a second as well.
I'll motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Perfect. Minutes are approved.
I need to move the next item ahead of this next one. Because Jesse needs to be here for the fee discussion. He's on his way.
Oh, okay, cool.
So the Santa Rita item, if we could discuss that one.
So we'll move to item number 3, regular agenda, public hearing and comment. And now we'll just discuss updates on the Santa Rita Park renovation project and recommend any related matters.
This will be fairly quick. So on Santa Rita Park, we've talked about this at different meetings. We've had a total of 5 neighborhood meetings on this project. We sent out surveys to the neighborhood, got a decent amount of responses back. I wish we'd gotten some more. And I think we're as close to consensus as we're going to get. I don't think we'll ever be there at 100%, but we're close enough. I'll show you some of this information here in a second, but we've updated the cost estimates. We've worked out a phased approach to the project. We talked about using the San Angelo Parks Foundation for a place to park the money and start using the foundation. And we set up into 2 committees, one that will focus on the natural playground and one that will focus on fundraising. This is just some information from the survey that came out. It just shows the aggregate totals of the responses. It doesn't show all the improvements that we listed, but it shows the ones where we had a pretty good break, and it showed what was most important. So all of these items are most important to the neighborhood. Most folks wanted to focus on getting the grass back in good shape, and that's going to take a new irrigation system that ranked highest on the list. Also landscaping, some greenery for the park, repair the rock walls and repair the bridge, the pedestrian bridge, add some solar lighting, add the natural playground. It's separated here between ages 2 and 5 and 5 and 12. Add a raised garden, add some walking paths, add some aerators to the creek, and then add a small parking area. Here's the new layout. Shows the walking paths, the small parking areas on the north side. Shows the natural playground kind of in the center. As you know, there's a drive that goes down pretty much where the pickleball court is. We're going to remove that drive, convert it to a pedestrian walkway, and at the end have a raised garden. We've already converted the tennis courts to pickleball, and that's been fairly popular. Let's see, that shows most of the improvements. And then these are the new cost estimates. Total cost $350,000. We have $100,000 have sales tax available, so $250,000 needs to be raised, and that shows the estimated cost of all those items that we listed earlier that were higher priorities, plus some things like contingency and miscellaneous. And we hope to have most of this work done in-house. I think we can see some savings on things like the natural playground, but some of the work we'll have to contract, like the irrigation, and probably get help from operations on the road repairs and the parking lot. We talked about doing a phase approach, and this is what the current plan is. Phase one, we would focus on using the funds that we already have to do the rock wall repairs, the park drive repairs, the parking area, reposition some of the boulders. And that, it says spring, summer 2025. I'm always anxious about putting dates in here, but it's going to be after we finish the storage facility at Texas Bank Sports Complex. Hopefully that will be sometime this summer. I know Mario's not going to say yes for sure. But that's the order. After we finish the storage facility, he's smart. After we finish the storage facility, we'll move over to Santa Rita. Now, the next two phases are where we need to raise some additional funds for the national playground, the raised garden, the natural garden, benches and tables, walking paths, the connecting walkways and signs. And that would follow our initial phase one, hopefully in the fall and winter. And then spring of next year, add the solar lighting, the aerators, do all the irrigation work, and do the planting. That is the current plan. It's just kind of an update. We don't need any to vote on anything, but wanted to keep all posted where we're at. We could start the fees discussion. Or we could start with updates. We can start with parks updates. Jesse's not back still. I need him for part of the fee discussion.
Yeah, we can do maintenance, you know.
Do we-
Parks maintenance. Like,
All right,
Okay.
I'll get started on the updates from parks. We're shifting gears from the tree trimming and stump grinding and things like that, and getting started on more of our spring and summer maintenance, mowing and weed eating and watering the turf and all that good stuff. We're finishing up pre-emergence, hopefully this week, throughout the parks and the sports fields, and going to get ready to start fertilizing and doing some post-emergent applications. We are starting to water trees around town, Santa Fe Golf Course being a big one, and just some of the smaller, more non-established trees that we've planted in the last few years. It's been dry and hot, so it's that time. We just finished up irrigation controller upgrades at the Texas Bank Sports Complex. We had a central control system out there that was kind of outdated and was giving us issues, and we were having issues getting repairs done and getting people out there to do it. So we transitioned from that to a different system, and we finished installing some new controllers and decoders and got that system up and running. So no issues so far. We're really pleased with the outcome of that. We just finished an irrigation project at Randolph Street, right behind the YMCA and the skate park and the Boy Scouts. There's a strip that's been needing irrigation for a while, and we upgraded that and completed that, and are looking to move to North River Drive, which is up the road, North River Drive by our parks headquarters. That's the next project. We're gonna hopefully get started soon if the funds in our accounts look right. So that's, yeah. We're currently working on the storage building at the Texas Bank Sports Complex. I think we're getting ready to pour some concrete, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, for the foundation, and then we'll start working on the erecting the building itself. So we're moving along. We're making good progress. I'm sorry. Of course, working with with Altex on their new splash pad coming to Kirby. Just kind of taking an advisory role on that, and then shifting around some irrigation and things like that for the site. Other than that, like I said, we're just mostly in maintenance mode and mowing and going.
Good deal. Use your rain.
Yep, we can use some rain. I think we got some chances this week, so hopefully.
I just washed my truck, so there should be a good chance.
There you go.
Alright, cool. The rest we'll just wait for Jesse.
Well, we could start the fee discussion.
Yeah, go ahead.
I need him here for some of the justification. What? Okay. Well,
You want a quick update on the youth sports complex?
uh,
I mean, it's just an update.
I suppose we can do that as part of the overall updates. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
just to tack on to what he was saying. So
okay
basically,
by me.
basically, that project is underway. The buildings that are up on the hill are down. Part of that hill has been demolished. They are grading currently that lower practice area, so they're moving along. He has ordered the restroom building. So as soon as those plans arrive, the permit office won't issue an actual permit for the building until they have an engineered set of drawings. So as soon as those drawings arrive, we can get a permit for the building itself. But since the building won't arrive for another 3 or 4 weeks after that, it doesn't really matter. But so everything's moving along, progressing nicely. So
Cool.
that's it.
And remind me, no more motocross, right?
No,
Just want to make
No.
sure.
No.
Somebody asked me about that the other day. I was like, I'm pretty sure that got
It's
named.
BMX,
Not here
but-
anyway. Yeah.
Okay, making sure. Cool. All right.
fees.
Fees?
Okay. Discuss and consider proposed fee changes for the upcoming budget process and recommend any related matters. Okay, Jesse just pulled up. So I'll start this off. For fees, we have lots of fees in our department. We have lots of different services. And we try to review those every year. We don't change the fees every year. But our primary goal is to make sure we try to achieve our cost recovery. What is the direct cost to us? Let's make sure the fee covers that. Some fees can be benchmarked, and that's usually with rentals, particularly in other areas like the cemetery. We benchmark against, there's only a few other cemeteries in town. We can benchmark off those. Fort Concho and Civic Events have a lot of rental facilities. They benchmark against other rental facilities in the city. But in most cases, we have to try to work towards cost recovery. The packet had the full list of fees. I'm going to cover some of the park fees, but you'll see just the recreation fees in a minute that we're asking to be increased. So for this year, there's no recommended changes to the park fees, but I'll show those here quickly in a second. And there are some changes in recreation. So these are the park fees, the pavilions, we rent those. And as far as revenue, recreation gets about a third of the amount that they need to raise to cover their expenses comes from what they charge. And parks is heavily, not subsidized, but paid for by the general fund. These fees generate anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 a year. So it's not a lot, but it is something. So we rent the pavilions at these parks. It's $20 an hour, 2-hour minimum, 4-hour max. And usually those are for small parties and birthday parties, things like that. We do rent the hockey rink at Kirby Park, $20 an hour. We haven't seen it rented a lot lately. What they call the girls' derby, roller derby, used to rent it quite a bit. And then some groups started using it for like pee-wee soccer because there's a fence, the ball stays within the rink, which we're fine with, but our primary use is as an inline hockey rink. We rent the garden grounds. Those are $60 for 2 hours at all those locations. We do rent Lone Wolf Bridge. We have in the past, not so much more recently. Kirby Pavilion, $300 for 12 hours, and then $400 for 12 hours with the concession area. At the lake, We've recently, I think the last 2 years, updated these fees. Camping fees, $10 a night. The entrance fees are charged the first weekend in March through Labor Day weekend. And those are the fees, $5 a day per vehicle, $30 for an annual pass, and then $20 for an annual pass for ages 65 and up and disabled. And then some of y'all remember we initiated the rental on the new pier at $150 for 2 hours. So Jesse, are you ready to talk about your fees? And as you've seen, we've only listed the ones that you're recommending change. So if you can explain those and explain why we need to go up.
Yes, so most of our stuff, we're not going up, but yes, the ones that are over here. So when you see our team registration, it shows the fee going up from 500 to 600. And what it means is, so we have the option of you can register as an individual or you can register as a team. So historically, what we've done is it's $500 if your jersey isn't included. But with the $500, that comes out to be $50 a kid or less that contributes to the fees of the sport. So at the $600 fee amount, that would be $60, close to $60 a kid if you have 10, but some teams do get more to contribute just to our expenses of officials and the contract fees that go with running our programs. So that's where, because if you register as an individual, it comes out to be more than $20 more than that. Basketball gate fee day and weekend is the $5 and $10. So if you're just going there for one day, it'd be $5 and then $10 for the weekend. And just so you know, when we host our own tournaments, that typically makes more revenue than what our whole league will make in terms of after you take out expenses and all that. Because basically we're lucky to, with basketball in particular, we're lucky to break even. Compared to when we run a basketball tournament, we actually make money off that. Flag football, same thing of the 500, 600. Basically, team registrations are going to be 600 instead of $500. Volleyball adult league, it would be going up from $225 to $275, and that's just depending on the league. We before we get to playoffs, we typically burn through how much we spent on registration compared to at a $275 rate, we can still keep it to where the winning team of the league can have the free registration for the next season, and that not hurt us for being able to cover our cost of our league. Date night, and just more details on this line. One thing that got submitted as well is for us to have an additional option of there to be a range for family nights. But date night in particular, so the one that as you got to see in person, will go up from $12 to $15. That's just because things like snacks that and we do snacks and dessert, which this year we were able to get some sponsorship help there. But we have our DJ, our decor, our staffing, all that for the week. And then with that $3 increase, we'd be able to do things like provide additional entertainment just to keep it to where we're able to provide something that an Army people still want to come out to, because as time goes on, we've been getting a little bit more competition on the whole daddy-daughter in particular. More schools are doing their Valentine's dances, and more people are utilizing that activity as a fundraiser type initiative. So we're able to enhance the experience without it going down in terms of what we're able to bring in, since we use that as a fundraiser. Late sports registration, already in kind of ordinance, there's a late fee for one sport, but not for all. So this would make it to where if you register late, it would be $100 would be your registration fee. So just to not confuse anyone, it's not going to be an additional $100 to the fee. Your fee would be $100. And then that's all I got on that slide. I think there's more.
Yeah, I guess we can come back to it, but if y'all have any questions or any input, just let us know.
Yeah, so this is for the Texas Bank Sports Complex. So field rental for the day, so meaning like you have it, it's all yours, with no lights would go up by $40. That would still save you in terms of if you're buying hourly. And then the hourly rental fee would be $25 an hour from the 15. fees haven't gone up in a number of years, right, Carl? It's been a while since we've. And then with lights in terms of if you want a field for the whole day would be $200, and then the with lights would be $40. So only $10 increase on the per hour with lights. Would keep the association season field rental, but with that, so we have two groups who we use that for, TLC and SAGFA. So those are the two. Everyone else, we just kind of do the per hour or day rental or tournament fees. And with the tournament fees, it's with the per quad. And then with the gates, that's meaning, for say you're hosting a tournament for your organization, you would pay a gate fee per quad, and you can charge whatever you want. Doesn't matter, you have 1,000 people in there, the city only gets the 150 is what's in there right now. One thing we are working on, it's what the attorney's office is finalizing, which because of these rates, it has to be updated again, is to have a form that you have to have filled out that has hey, these are all the rates you're doing, and sign that out. But it has to be re-updated again with the new insurance information and this as well. All right, so with the pool, the only fees that are going up is when you're on your admission. So instead of paying $5 per person for 3 to 64, it's going to be $6, and from $3 to $4 for both if you have a group of 20 or more, or if you're 65 plus. So it's just a $1 increase. Just kind of help us recoup some of our costs that we get on the pool.
How many folks do you usually get on the swim lessons in a year?
So we don't do swim lessons at this point.
We have
do,
in the past.
Yeah, in the past.
Gotcha.
But I know in terms of admission, because I just had to look up these numbers, in terms of daily admission of people, it's over 15,000 people who came this last summer for the pool. And then for pool parties, it's over 8,000 people who have attended, and that's on the low side. We had to do it kind of a range based off our total pool party rentals, because when you register, there's kind of parameters of if you have 100 or less, or if you have 101 to 200. So that's just doing the median and like just completely not counting if someone did a 400 or 500 party like a House of Faith. So.
I didn't know you were out the whole pool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. 325 for 2 hours. Yeah. Cool.
Any questions on any of those?
So we are forwarding this to council for consideration as part of this budget year process. And so we need to get your input before we take it forward. If you have any questions or concerns or thoughts about some of these changes.
Yeah, the only big
Yep.
one I saw, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sorry.
The only question I had was the flag football. The youth league went up to 600, but then youth league with uniforms is also 600.
Yeah, so that's on So that's on there. It's going to be to where if you're registering as a team, you need to provide your own jersey. So yes, we need to fix that on there. So before, it's either you can pay the 600 to have your jersey included, or to do 500 to not have it included. Now it's just going to be the option of 600. If you're bringing a team, you need to provide your own jersey, because the reason why you're getting your discount is because of that jersey fee. Reason also being with that is we have an issue with teams registering late, and we have to pay additional shipping cost for the additional jerseys and all that come in late. And then, but the parents don't care what the reasons are. They want their jersey on time. So that eliminates that issue. So we're responsible for the ones who register individually, and we put the teams together.
And then y'all don't charge for like the pickleball rentals, do y'all? Like the nets?
We don't, but that's more of with Mario on pickleball stuff, right? It's just on at the park. There's a key for whatever.
Yeah, the Brown Park has a combination lock. that they go and talk to Barbara about and get the combination to it. And then Santa Rita, their net stays out and they've got access to that.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, the only other big one was the one with the lights at the baseball deal. I mean, if the costs have gone up just to cover everything, I was just curious if that was a big move. But if they haven't been raised in years, just curious. Ah, nice. Cool. Any other questions, discussion? So we got to vote we agree this is a recommendation from us, okay? I'll entertain a motion to accept these fee increases in a second. Okay. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, easy enough. Cool.
Well, the only thing we missed was updates from Recreation to finish this off.
Yes, other than fees, recently we had a movie in the park at Unidad. That went well. We showed The Little Mermaid out there. I'd say the only adjustments we'd make in the future is to put a couple more speakers out there because we had more people stay than anticipated for the movie. We thought people would come out for the food trucks and stuff, and some of those would leave, but we had a lot of through traffic stay, so just a couple more speakers for that. We've had good conversations with the group who does the movie in the parks during the summer, so we'll be potentially helping out with that. Starting April 11th, so here in 2 Saturdays on the lake gates part. So Recreation, we staff the lake gates. We're going to be going to a cashless model out there. And what I just came back from was a meeting kind of understanding more of how does this arm work and all that going on out there. So we'll be going cashless, implementing an arm at Middle Concho, but at Spring Creek, it'll still be staffed out there, but it's just going to be a tablet with a receipt printer out there. So that's just been the main thing. Splash pad, working on getting that more going this week. Me and another staff member, we went into the holding tank just to get like the sand and stuff off the walls and all that and get some of the dirt off. There's a lot of water down at the bottom, so we mainly had to scoop out a good chunk of water just to move the mud. I know it's supposed to rain this week, but we're able to move the mud off to the side so that after it rains again, we won't have to work as hard to access it. But the idea is to get that, essentially right now we could fill up the water and get it going. It's just we'd burn through a lot of chemicals, leaving that dirt and mud down there. So it would save us a little bit there if we went ahead and scooped that out and just save us some issues of, clogging the filter and all that good stuff. And then registration for summer track, summer day camp, summer flag football is going on right now. And we've been booking pretty steadily on private pool parties at the pool. And so if y'all know anyone who wants to lifeguard or be a summer day camp counselor, we're looking. They can apply online.
How many lifeguards y'all have?
We want to have, for like around that 20 mark or more. Right now, in terms of returners, we're at 6, and we're still interviewing some more returners. We just interviewed first the ones that we know for sure who work at the schools who, when we do some preseason couple of events, we'll be able to kind of help out with that first. Cool. And then we'll start interviewing the new kids and get them all hired on. But it's basically we want to hire a good army because, it won't be until they get into water for a lifeguarding class that we find out, hey, that they're not cut out for this, whether we make that decision for them or they're like, hey, I do not like swimming as much as I thought I did. Or, it's like, hey, I grew up going to pool parties, but it's always been 3 feet of water, so I never knew that I couldn't tread water for as long as I needed to, like things like that. So, but with those kids, it's like, well, you could be a day camp counselor, and we find other stuff for them. Cool. But that's what we have going on now.
And y'all had some good numbers from the date nights?
Yes, we did. The big change that we had was on Thursday, turning that into a family night instead of just a catered meal. So it was the same format as the other 3 nights in terms of there being dance and snacks, but we opened it up to more people. So we saw over 100 kid increase or 100 couple increase on going out there on Thursday. So we're going to keep that Thursday. We were wondering if we're going to get any pushback from anyone who's registered for that in the past expecting a meal, and we didn't have any of that. So,
Nice. Well, good job. It was very, very impressive. It was my first one to go to there. Very impressed with it. It was fun, fun as hell. And the kids look like they had a good time.
So what do they do at day camp, the day camp?
yeah, so they get dropped. So we have it at our south side location off Benefit Glen. It's right there next to the Boys and Girls Club. They'll do our group activities, and because we have a gym, and in the next to south side as well, there's a basketball court, and there's a backstop as well, and there's a playground. So we'll have a little like baseball game out there, kickball. They play on the playground. We'll even, do hula hoops and all that, dodgeball, your typical like growing up doing PE or camps of, we have our dodgeball games going on. Southside has a big craft area as well, so we'll do different crafts. So like if they're doing like almost like a STEM activity of, you can make a little volcano and all that type of stuff that's going on. And then on Wednesdays, typically they're swimming. This year, we're looking at having summer day camp to where it's just at Southside instead of one day of having to go to over by our office just to access the pool. I have a meeting on Monday with the ISD for transportation for seeing about making that happen. And if we can bring back transportation, then we can potentially even bring back field trips. And on that, I would need to see, because I know we talked about rate increases. Day camp, I think there's a urgent need for us to be able to keep our prices the way that there are. So if we are able to bring back field trips, I would like to reconvene about, all right, what kind of sponsorship options that we can have to cover the cost of that. Because a lot of families need that option to stay the price that it is to be able to afford it. Like, it may seem cheap to us, but I mean, that's an electric bill and stuff like that for certain families. So.
I think that's it.
All right. Consider any other future agenda items?
I thought of something earlier, but I forgot it.
That happens. All right. Cool. Well, I will entertain a motion to adjourn in a second. Or we can just stick around. Is there a second? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We are adjourned.